Welcome to the True Love Secrets Revealed Telesummit. Today we have the most amazing Joylynn Ross sharing her expertise with us. She is an amazing writer and publishing author, and she has the skills to help writers and authors and even self-proclaimed non-writers take their thoughts, ideas, and concepts and turn them into currency via books and publications. She is a literary consultant, publishing coach, and literary education who helps people achieve writing and publishing success. As the CEO of Past to Publishing, a content creator and literary service provider, Joylynn helps people to create content that brings awareness to their brand and customers to their services. So welcome to the Telesummit.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored, and I'm just so ready to have this long overdue conversation with you. I'm not even thinking that this is being recorded. There's lights, there's cameras. I am just having an amazing conversation with my girlfriend. How about that?
Sounds fabulous.
Good.
Thank you, Joylynn. So I figure we could start with if you could share your expertise, your experience, your value regarding communicating during dates. When the ladies go on a date and you know how they are always answering kind of the same questions. And I would like you to guide them a little bit on that aspect of dating, the communication aspect.
Awesome. Because a lot of times people think, oh, you're a master in storytelling. Storytelling, that's what life is about. In business and in real life, it's about storytelling, really getting your message out about who you are or whatever that particular subject matter or theme is, the topic of conversation, getting it out with clarity, not overload, being authentic, being transparent, again, not overload, which means not too much, know when to reel it in. And again, that's in life, that's in business, that's in dating, marriages, relationships with your parents, with your children. It's like relationship 101. I am married 16 years, and I actually do remember what it was like dating. Dating is fun. And people, to me, that's what's wrong in a lot of relationships is that people don't date. Right. People don't date. I tell my daughters, my son's only 14. I have an older son who's 35, but I tell them date. None of them are married yet. Date. That is so fun. That's how you get to know each other. I'm not saying sleep around with everybody. I'm saying date. Form relationships. It doesn't have to be a sexual relationship. And the friend zone is okay if it doesn't work out. That's why having conversations and communicating is so important. We have to be intentional, though, about these dates. We really have to sit down. What do I want from this date? What do I want from this person? This is even on date night with your spouse, okay? I know this is for when we say date, people think single people. Married people, we do date. Thank you. We date our spouses. Hello. We even date our girlfriends. We date our children. So when you think of dating, I'm going to be your box cutter. I'm going to cut you out of that box when you think about going on dates. So think about your intentions with that particular date, with that particular person. What do you want to come out of it? Going into it, know what you want to come out of it. Is it okay if this person just ends up being a really cool friend, someone you want to call and check up on every quarter, every year, or is it someone you want to, a friend with benefits? Or is this someone I could see me spending the rest of my life with? When you go in blindly, and this is no dig at blind dates, because you don't have to go into a blind date blind. And I don't even know if that's a good term to use now, with DEI and accessibility using the word blind date. So I don't want to offend anybody by using that term. But when you go into it, not having any intentions, not being aware of what you want from that, that's when the communication problems can start. I'm not saying write down a list of questions and rehearse them, but I am saying pull out that notepad, pull out that journal. Why am I investing time to spend the next couple of hours with this person? What do I want? Why am I doing that? So you have to communicate with yourself first. If that makes sense. You have to communicate with yourself first. So hey, you spending 2 hours on your Friday night going here, you want so have conversation and communicate with yourself first clearly, because if you can't even pass that hurdle, you are in trouble once you get to that date. So write down those things. Even if you're looking for maybe companionship, is there an attraction? And it's okay if there's not an attraction right off bat. There may be something that develops about something the person says or does, or maybe their work of charity. There's something else. So let's get rid of, and I was shallow once. Hey, looks for everything. I was swimming and stroking in the shallow pool.
Me too.
But hey, and if that's you and if that's who you are, communicate that with yourself first, so that when you get there, your face isn't showing everything you feel. You've already had that conversation with yourself on how to react, how to proceed. It's okay if the person isn't attractive, I'm not attracted to them physically. It's okay if they're not my norm, my usual. I'm going out on a date. I want to spend time with the person. Maybe I'm going to say or share something that blesses them. Maybe I can just be a blessing to that person. So have that conversation and communicate with yourself first, so that before you walk out of that door, you're all ready, you're prepped, you have an understanding, you have clarity. And then once you get there and you're with that person, then you are able to, go in again with some type of what is the word I'm looking for? Expectations, some type of expectation on what's going to take place. You can control the narrative, or if you're not an extrovert like me, I know y'all couldn't tell I'm an extrovert, but if you're not an extrovert like me, it's okay to allow them to take lead, to allow them to take charge, but always be aware that you need to control your narrative. A lot of times people can insinuate things about you based on any social media background, they've done on you. So speak up. Don't just nod and smile, but speak up if you need to correct someone. That is not rude. That's, again, communications 101, clarity, having a clear understanding, being able to speak up and share your likes and your dislikes, and don't let anyone assume. Again, you don't always have to control the narrative. Silence is okay. You have the right to be silent. You have the right to be silent and listen. And then by listening, you can begin to generate questions. You can begin to generate questions. And then if you just go totally like, I don't know what to say, I don't know what to ask, I don't know, sit back and allow them to take the lead. And again, be okay with silence. Be okay with silence. We host a retreat. It's abundance retreat. And a lot of times you go to places and they say, now sit by people you don't know. Make sure you sit by people you don't know. Sit by people you don't know. Sit by people you don't know. We're at our retreat. We have something where we call it a table for one. We want you to sit by yourself. We don't want you to sit by anybody. We want you to sit by yourself and know what it feels like to enjoy your own company and to enjoy it in silence. That way, when you are on a date, where you are in a situation where there are other people, you're used to silence. You're accustomed to it. You're not unnerved by silence, rather. You're not nervous about it and feel like you have to fill in blanks. You have the right to remain silent. Silence is golden, even on a date.
Oh my God, that is beautiful. And what a shocker from a communications experts to advise us to actually be okay with the silence, be
Yes.
okay but that is so true. That is so true. You know, something that I usually tell my ladies is as they go through the coaching and they start to get rid of the drama, I said, start to get used to being more silent, because a lot of the things we say to fill up the space are things that are really not useful things. They're not connecting things. So I agree with you 100%. And how
Great.
important it is to learn how to communicate with ourselves.
Yeah.
What you said there, that was beautiful. Now, I would like if you can talk a little bit more about, because, you know, I love what you said about oversharing, and I so stand behind that there is a thin line between being vulnerable and open and to oversharing. So do you have anything to say about that? How do we know when we are oversharing, and how to kind of pull back a little bit when we catch ourselves doing that? How do we recognize, how we are aware that we are doing it? And second, how do we kind of gracefully get back?
Read the room, or read the person at your table. Read the room, read the person at your table. This is when communication comes in. I have a secret. There's this little trick that I've learned about communication, and I learned it through Healing Hooves right here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Healing Hooves, horse therapy. Horses can't talk, but they can communicate. I go once a month to learn how to communicate with my husband and my children.
Wow. Tell us more.
Gotta work with that horse who can't talk, but it can communicate without words. And so that teaches me. So that's my trick. That's my little secret hidden weapon, really learning how to communicate without speaking, learning how to read the room, learning how to feel discernment. A lot of people, when they're going to do the horse therapy, they will fear that the horse is going to kick them because of the horse can't see beside them, the horse can't see behind them. So when you're walking around the horse, stay connected. You're communicating through the touch. You can communicate through the look, but stay connected. So when you're going behind the horse, you're touching, it knows it's you. It knows it's safe. It's right there. And so I had to learn all of these different ways to communicate without speaking. And it was discerning. The horse can discern and feel you. All of the emotions. And if we practice that as people, when we are sitting next to or across the room from someone, we can read, we can discern through communication without words. So if you're the one speaking, you will be able to tell when you are really focused, when you're speaking, not just to be speaking.
Right.
But when you're speaking because you're relaying message and information that you want it to stick with them. You want it to be clear. You want them to have an understanding. So we're looking in each other's eyes. We're looking at the expressions, because we're just talking to talk. So read the room, read the person, communicate through energy,
right,
through their body movements. I mean, are they ready to just check, please?
Right.
So you will be able to tell. That's your first sign when you know you're oversharing. You're oversharing because of what the other person is giving back to you, what they're communicating back to you without saying a word, unless they absolutely cut you off. Like, okay, TMI. But most of us can feel it because there's this split second where we say, should I say that? If you have to ask yourself that question, don't say it. It's just like wearing a dress out. Should I wear a slip with this? If you have to ask, wear a slip.
Right.
So if you have to ask yourself, should I say this? Or I hope they don't take this the wrong way. Don't say it. You know when you're over delivering, you know when you're oversharing, and when you've done it and it's too late, apologize. Oh, that might have been too much. I apologize.
Right.
Don't just say, I think I'll have another shrimp appetizer and just leave the person in that. Don't ignore it. Don't ignore it. Own it and apologize for it.
Right.
And it allows the other person to take the floor or change subjects. But we know when we're oversharing. We do.
That's amazing. I mean, everything you said is so much wisdom, but I'm going to pick something. They don't ignore it. I love that, because when we don't ignore it, when we acknowledge, when we did something, you know, that doesn't really reflect the image that we want to project, ignoring it is the worst thing we can do. The best thing we can do is to acknowledge it and maybe make a joke or, you know, laugh at ourselves. Oh, there you are, oversharing again. You know, that is when we let the other person in, and that's when we are really showing who we are. So something that could have been a disaster could end up being the place, the crack that the other person can get in.
And let them know I'm working on it. Oh, like you said, there I go oversharing again. I'm working on that. That's something I'm working on. So that you not say, oh, that's just me.
Right.
Because we all have things we can work on. And so when you do that's just me, they're going, well, that will be you forever. And I don't know if that's the company I want to keep. But if you're saying, but that's something I'm working on, then they say, okay, there's room, there's potential. She recognizes, he recognizes, they're working on it. So aren't all of these things just so simple, but we're so busy trying to get it right. We don't stop to think about, hey.
Right. We're so busy trying to be perfect all the time. Where do you think that comes from? The desire of be perfect, like on first impressions, like dating this.
I think it's different for each individual. I have a life coach, and look, I got horse coaches, I got life coaches. Look, I'm working on me.
Right. So,
but you know, with my life coach, her specialty is reconciling with your younger you.
Oh, I love it.
Reconciling with and she and I, we do a workshop together, and it's called letters to your younger self. Because you see, that's something else people say, write a letter to your younger self. Well, we actually go through some coaching and consulting, and it's like a 6 to 8 week program to get that letter done when you're really going to do it. And so with her special being reconciling to your younger self, what I have learned is that a lot of our isms and things we have going on and our reasons why stems from childhood. It can be one thing an uncle said. It could be one thing a teacher said, something we may not even realize that's what it is until we really start doing the work on ourselves. But that need to be perfect, again, it can come from our childhood. It can come from us seeing these perfectly put together people, you know, on social media, at networking events, things of that nature. So I don't think there's a one size fits all when you think about us having the need to want to be perfect. I think we always want to be on our best behavior because we were always told that. We always want to be in our Sunday's best. When you think about all these cliches and sayings, it's like, no wonder.
Yes.
No wonder we all want to put on this certain or particular image, even media training, you know, things of that nature. So when I do media training, mine is different. Mine is called B, and in parentheses, it says be ready for, and then it says the media. So it's like we capitalize and we bold the letter BE and the letter ME, because at the end of the day, it's be me. Nobody can teach you how to be you, but what can be taught is how to be comfortable being you, how to be confident being you, and how to have the courage to display the confidence in being you. And so I think overall, that's really what it stems from, wanting to be perfect. Again, it could go back to childhood. It can go back to social media. It could go back to the networking events, all of this training we do. And at the end of the day, we haven't learned how to just be comfortable being who we are, looking like who we are, dressing how we dress, and, you know, things of that nature. So I think, again, there's no cookie cutter answer I can give you. Sorry.
That's beautiful. Yes, no, that makes so much sense. And what I get from what you're saying is that in this desire of being perfect, we actually don't have room for being ourselves.
Yes.
Do you see that happening a lot with your clients when they're writing a book, that they get caught up into the being perfect, or you know, and that stops them from writing? I mean, it can be a block for creativity.
Yes, and there's no such thing for, in my tribe, in our community at Path to Publishing, there's no such thing as writer's block. It's you block. It's you blocking you. Even when we're working with corporations and nonprofits and organizations, and when we're working with the leaders and the executives, when it comes to leadership training, it's really not just owning who you are, being an authentic you, and not what you believe you need to be like for corporate America, but allowing other people to be themselves as well. A lot of times we get to the point where I'm okay with the skin I'm in. I'm okay being me. But do we give other people that permission? Do we give other people that grace?
How do we do that? How do we either give permission or don't give permission? That's interesting. There is something that we actually do. Can we do that?
It truly is. It truly is something we do. For example, you can let's take a corporation, and what you'll hear a lot is in corporations is, that's the way we've always done it. That's how we do it. So you're not giving that person permission to at least explore doing it differently, being different. Well, when you present, this is how we always present. We do this, we say that, we do X, Y, Z. I was a moderator at an event just last week, and we got scripts, and I went off script, not for myself, but for the speakers. I wanted to give them permission to do, to be, to see, to say, to think, to speak. Yes, we have the power to empower the powerful. When people ask me, what are you here on this earth to do? Well, to bless people every single day, to be somebody's miracle, and to empower the powerful. We absolutely can give people permission to be them. And a lot of times we only give ourselves that permission, but we don't give others the grace or the permission to be themselves.
Right. That's beautiful. Yes, yes. What is coming up for me relating it to dating and relationships is sometimes there are women and men too. Everything goes for both, but you know, this telesummit is for women only. So sometimes there are women that have an ideal man in their head. So when they go on a date, it's like they don't have a chance. The man doesn't have a chance because these women are constantly comparing the ideal man that they have in their head with this real human that they have in front of them. So that is the comparison that I think is a good analogy between the corporate world and the dating world. It's like that when they go on a date, just let them be. Let them go off script and show who they are.
Yes, exactly. And I learned that through horse therapy, because one of my favorite horses to work with, his name is Spot. And what I was working on that day was, I thought was anxiety, but it was really not having control. And I needed Spot to come here in order to play the game. I needed Spot to come here in order for me to be able to achieve this, achieve that. And sometimes Spot just didn't want to go, or Spot wanted to go play, or Spot wanted to go get water, this, that, and the other. And so I'm like, that really felt good. When I was done with the therapy, I was telling Kim, that really felt good. I just, I was able to let Spot have control. And she said, no, you let Spot be Spot.
Oh.
It's not giving up control. It's not having control. It's letting someone be. Spot didn't have control. Spot was just being Spot. So when you take that to relationships, I told you, I need horses to help me stay in this marriage, okay? But when you take that to relationships, allowing my husband to be him doesn't mean he has control.
Right.
A lot of times we're tug of war and over control. The man doesn't want the woman to have control, or, the woman man, whatever your relationship looks like, if it's same sex, whatever it is, we don't want the other person to have control. And so we're holding on to that. And by trying to hold on to that control because we don't want the other person to have control, we're really not letting them be. And if we could just say, I'm just allowing them to be. They don't have control over me or the situation. I'm letting them be. Isn't that beautiful? I learned that from Spot the horse.
Let's Spot the horse. Oh my God, that was amazing. Yes, let the man be the man. Let us be.
Yeah, just let them be.
Yes, there is enough room for everybody to be.
Yes.
Yes, I watched Hamilton, the movie on Disney Plus yesterday, and when it ends, Burr, the guy that kills Hamilton, when he's singing, he's saying, "I made a mistake. I thought the world wasn't big enough for both of us," and I was like, "Oh gosh, gosh."
And you just remember that. And with the point you just made, there's enough room in this relationship for the both of us. Right. There's enough room in this relationship for the both of us. Yes,
amen. And unless, there are, it's important to be with people that we share values and a lifestyle and things like that. But there are always going to be differences. I mean, it's just part of relating. There are always going to be some differences. So accepting that, embracing them, choosing them, mostly with men, because we are so different. Men and women are so different. And then you get humans who we are also different.
Yes.
So yes, let's embrace the horse lesson. That's beautiful. Thank you so much. This has been absolutely amazing. I just loved it. And I know you have a great gift for our viewers.
Yes.
Working with you a little bit. Do you mind talking to us?
Oh, I don't mind at all. Like I mentioned earlier, we do Breaking Open Abundance. We have a Breaking Open Abundance program, and we do Spring Forward into Abundance retreats in April. We do it in Las Vegas every April, and then we also do it in Paris, France in September. And yes, we do it in Paris, France. We're going to be doing it this September. And so what I want to share in that gift is a free Breaking Open Abundance call. Because when you think about abundance, a lot of times the first thing people think about is money. But what about abundance of love? What about abundance of joy, abundance of peace, abundance of relationships? Right. And so we really help you break open what abundance truly is and help you unblock anything that's blocking your path to abundance in love, abundance of relationship, abundance in money as well. Money's a great tool. And so these calls, and we have workshops and journals and workbooks, but this call alone really works you through defining what abundance is to you now, but what it could be and how it could truly impact the world, not just your relationships and your families and your community and your tribe, but the world. So I would love to offer a free Breaking Open Abundance call.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. The link is going to be under the interview. So if you please go ahead and grab this amazing gift. Thank you, Joylynn.
Yes.
And thank you so much for joining us and share yourself so freely, so generously. You're a beautiful woman inside out, and I feel honored and blessed to have you here with our experts. So thank you.
Thank you so much. It's been my honor and my duty to serve.
So I'm gonna stop this. Upgrade to join the VIP exclusive package. Maximize the difference that this interview series can make in your love life. The VIP package includes 2 additional VIP-only coaching and training sessions after this challenge to make the shift you want to make to create the loving relationship you want. That is an additional week of coaching and training. A private 20-minute coaching session with me to set real goals, remove your blocks, and get your questions answered. A free ticket to the Get Ready for Love Masterclass, a powerful live training session that will help you create your unique love vision and jumpstart you to create the love you want right away. On-demand access to the Library of Experts interview. These recordings will only be made available to VIPs. And emails from me updating you with all the links and dates for the VIP extra trainings, coaching calls, and resources. Amounts to a total value of $1,100. Today, you can access it for only $47. Click on the button that says Join VIP now for only $47. Looking forward to see you there.